The legend of the dawn of the Terran Empire, as pieced together from the oral stories of the Terrans. The sacrifice of that young captain came to be known by future historians as the single most important act in human history. For his brave sacrifice that so inspired his fellow captains allowed mankind a fighting chance by taking out the larger of the two deadly spheres that had destroyed the Earth. This act of defiance became known in human legend as the Stand. With the death of the internet, it was at this point that humanity renewed its ancestral tradition of oral histories, often inaccurate in nature, yet strong in raw emotional power. Those who had sacrificed themselves in the name of humanity would be remembered. They would not be forgotten. The original sphere, damaged by the implosion of its larger twin, ceased its terrible wrath against what little remained of the Earth. It seemed to pause and reflect on what had occurred, as if taking a second measure of humankind. Just as quickly as it had originally appeared, it then left. It disappeared once more into the void. There was no celebration for mankind that day, for the Earth and all life that had remained upon it was lost, scorched beyond oblivion. Humanity, out of necessity, had to adapt to its new life among the stars. Those space stations that man had constructed around the solar system for materials and additional food sources became all that remained of human civilization in the solar system. In the days, years, and decades after, the humbling of humanity came to be known as the Burning. For all humanity's preparation, their losses were nigh on absolute, as mankind had barely attained their Pyrrhic victory. The disappearance of the original sphere was an ever-present threat in the minds of all who survived the burning of Earth. If it returned once more, who could say how many others of its kind would follow? What every civilian, soldier, officer, father, and mother knew, with a certainty bordering on faith, was that the sorry remnants of humanity could not hope to fight back another attack in their current state of chaos. All who survived saw the necessity of a unified humanity that prioritized strength. After all, they wondered, had the various nation-states of Earth not failed in the defense of their home planet? The human disposition is a fickle thing, quick to blame and judge where no fault truly lies. It was in response to this fear and unbridled hatred of all things other in the cosmos that the remnants of Earth's spacefaring vessels were marshalled under the strongest of surviving naval officers, reordered into the First Terran Empire, under the leadership of the newly self-proclaimed Emperor of Mankind. The remaining humans of the Sol system swore vengeance on the cosmos for the death of their homes, their planet, their innumerable fallen. The remaining ships of humanity were ordered to scout and scavenge the debris of the Shattered Sphere, that hated symbol of tragic loss and bitter victory. Fueled by their hatred of the universe that had beckoned them, only to burn their home in response, humanity reverse-engineered the scavenged parts of high technology that littered the orbit of the scorched Earth. As the fires of old Earth blazed, the foundations of Terra rose above from the ashes. Using what remained of their computing power, united humanity unscrambled the secrets of the void ships. As it was discovered, the spheres called themselves. It was discovered early on that the spheres had been communicating with each other about potential uses for humanity to serve their organic masters, before ultimately deciding on extinction as the best course of action. The human genome, mapped in its entirety, was discovered in software form, alongside other, more sinister information. One apparent suggestion of the void ships had been to conquer and subjugate humanity, for use as a planetary invasion force against other organic life forms, but the risk of insubordination had been deemed too great a risk. Even before experimentation, it had been determined that the human spirit was too independent for use in their galactic crusade. It was discovered that the void ships were mere automatons, tools, launched by the would-be overlords of the galaxy. Wherever the probing void ships discovered a planet able to harbour life, directions to the void ship's homeworld were to be left where only sentients could find them. Their purpose, simple: to lure emerging intelligent life into announcing their presence and readiness for harvesting. The Emperor ordered these discoveries made public. He knew he had to keep the fire of humanity's rage stoked hot enough to overpower their fear of a hostile cosmos bent on humanity's extinction. In their anger, humanity would endure long enough to exact their revenge. In their madness, blinded by hatred and loss, humanity began to experiment with the gene augmentation techniques available to their new enemy. Rapid breeding, accelerated growth, and resistance to radiation were all spliced to the human genome. For himself, the Emperor reserved the discoveries of biological immortality for his sole use. He resolved to protect his race for eternity until his death in battle, whenever it may come. And still more were the Seekers of the Spheres, or Void Ships, as mankind came to call them in that time. Designs for Dyson sphere constructs to encapsulate a star and harness its energy and fullness. Plans for colossal rings that would rotate around a star and act as living space. Space elevators and gigantic shipyards capable of building, holding, and launching monolithic vessels on par with the detested Void Ships. With the blueprints of the Void Ship FTL warp drives discovered, the Emperor ordered the reconstruction of the Sol system into a factory system, geared towards the sole purpose of war. The gene augmentations and instantaneous travel fueled a new age of human technological prowess and might. The new factories of humanity fired day and night to construct the first Terran fleet, a collection of monstrous ships with planet-killing armaments. Their dreaded weapons included biologically engineered creatures, bred to strip a planet of life like locusts, and worst of all, the Emperor of Mankind himself, consumed in his hatred of all things other, led the project in developing the most terrible weapons of humanity's new arsenal, the von Neumann plague ships. Kept secret for fear of rebellion and sabotage, this most unholy of human designs could be described as a technological cancer. A single ship could enter a hostile star system, land on an unoccupied asteroid or planetary body, and replicate itself until it deemed it had enough replicants in order to enact its primary protocol: complete extinction of all biological life in the system. The probes were designed to rain down upon inhabited worlds and release the biological plagues within. They could also target ships, designed to puncture a manned vessel's hull and release both unholy plagues and swarms of nanites to consume the skeletons of the crew, along with their ships. It is only in recent times that knowledge of these dreadful designs had been made known to the masses. However, this was an unnecessary precaution in the face of humanity's long-standing rage at what they perceived as a hostile universe. Even at the time, the irony of intending xenocide was not lost on the enraged Emperor. Mankind, almost driven to the brink of extinction, would have their revenge no matter the cost. But this time, it would be humanity taking on the role of exterminator. Morals cast aside, for the gauntlet was off. And what's more, they would finish the task with relish. 50 Earth years passed, during which humanity spread across the galaxy in their expansion drive, securing sector after sector in the Emperor's name. With a dedication worthy of Hephaestus, mankind's shipyards churned out ship counts in the millions. Spawn worlds teemed with the fierce masses of human soldiers, bred as cannon fodder to throw into the void. When the Emperor deemed his race ready, the human crusade of the galaxy began in earnest. Mortem ad astra. Death to the stars.